People need to know this. So hang out. I'll show you how to do it real quick. Drum programming on the black box is a lot of fun. It's really easy to do, and I think it sounds good. And in the case of this little hi-hat pattern, I'm using a multi-sample, which gives you the opportunity to squeeze 4 sounds onto one pad, which is really nice. One thing that the black box hasn't got is any LFOs. And what this means is that there is, in some ways, a lack of automation capabilities that you would see on some other equipment, like, for example, the Digitakt. Fortunately, these two play together really well. I've said this before, so it's pretty easy to use one of the LFOs on a MIDI channel on the Digitakt to automate the filter or another parameter on the black box to freak out your sound. So that's what's going on right here, and I'm going to show you how. I think it sounds pretty cool. Awesome. So if you listen to the pattern now and you listen to that hi-hat, the frequency is static. It's not moving around anymore. That's because I turned off all the automation because I want to show you how to set it up from scratch. So that's what we're going to do. We need to tell the black box that the Digitakt is here and that it's got something to say. So first thing, let's set up the black box to receive instructions. If you go to Tools, MIDI, to the best of my knowledge, this is as global or as overarching as the MIDI settings get on the black box. Pads are set to Omni, keys are set to Omni, program changes are off, clock source is set to MIDI port. This may not be default. I might have put it there. Black box does a pretty good job of, or they documented it anyway and explained how the black box prioritizes where it gets its clock from. This is basically saying, if I hear clock on MIDI, I'm going to use that, and that's what I want. I want the clock from the Digitakt to be respected by the black box because we can, benefit from them being in sync. Now, hi-hat. We want to get the hi-hat listening for the Digitakt. So the first thing that we will do is, once the hi-hat is selected by any method you prefer, on the MIDI page, I want to set this to channel 9. You can set it to channel whatever you want. I like channel 9 because MIDI A is trig 9 on the Digitakt. Okay, that's all I want to do right now on the black box. I want to shift our focus to the Digitakt. From a sort of global MIDI perspective on the Digitakt, if we go to settings, MIDI config, sync, all I did is turn on clock send and transport send. That's it. Port config, MIDI, output channel, auto channel. I think this allows us to ignore the channels page. This is how I have it set up. Output to MIDI, parameter output CC. Some of these settings may not actually be applicable, but again, turbo speed off. As to the best of my knowledge, this is not a Gateway 2000 computer from 1996. I don't know a lot about the turbo speed setting, but output MIDI, through port MIDI. I'm not even using through port. We could probably turn that off. I'm not using input right now. Output to MIDI, output auto channel, param CC. And again, channels, I could manually set track A to be channel 9, but I really don't think we need to, because again, I think because of auto channel on output channel. I'm going to get it working though, so there's that. So how do I get the MIDI A to play the hi-hat? Select MIDI A, button 9, hit source, press funk, press A for channel, and I'm going to turn that to 9. because that is the channel we selected in the black box. Now you can hear it. Awesome. What's left to do now is to, go further and tell the black box about that the Digitakt is going to control its filter, that the Digitakt is going to control something. So also on MIDI channel A, we need to set up a CC, control change. I think of this sort of like a root, a pipe, whatever you want, and there's values that that go through that pipe that we can change. So you can pick any one of these. I will pick E because I don't want it's too much A, and I'm going to select 87 because I'm not using it for anything else. I could also pick 88. How about 88? So on the amp page, on selector 5, I set the CC to 88. All right, we don't even need to think about 88 anymore. All we need is that selector 5. I'm going to move over one to the filter tab, and I'm going to activate knob 5. And it's dead set on 65 in the middle. Now, we're able to tell the black box that the Digitakt is ready to transmit that information. So we go back to the black box. We're on the hi-hat pad, info, main. Looking at the filter, we want to program the filter to listen for this from the Digitakt. So pick any black box, no pun intended, and then turn the knob all the way to the right to MIDI CC. When I tap learn, as long as that light is lit, as long as it's blue there, it hasn't heard anything yet. As soon as I turn this knob, light's going to go out. Boom. This 100% amount is sort of saying like how seriously do I want to take the instructions I get on here. So you can sort of turn down the strength of this external control. I'm leaving it at 100%. So now, if we go back, we are controlling the filter. If you can see, you'll notice one thing. Blackbox does not auto-adjust the numerical value of the filter percentage in response to the change coming from the Digitakt. And I think this kind of makes sense because whatever value the filter is set to, that's sort of like the baseline for what our external oscillations are going to work from. So we're not really changing. We are changing it, but that baseline filter setting matters to the black box anyway. So we are trigging a pad, and we are adjusting the frequency on the filter, but we're not automating. So if what's in the mix here? I don't want you to hear that yet. I can do this automatically. I'm sorry, I can do this manually, but it's not happening manually. So we have to automate this guy. So then we're still on MIDI channel A. We're going to go to the LFOs tab. So in this, I just want to say, this is not completely default because I dialed in these settings and I like them, and it took me a minute to do. So, and I'll save them again. I think I know how to get back to them, but I didn't want, this isn't an LFO setup lesson. This is how to use the LFO for something else. What we will do, what we do need to change though, what is back to default, is the destination. Right now the destination is nothing. You remember before, I said forget about 88, but remember 5. Remember 5. On the LFO, we want to set up the destination to CC, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5, because that's the one we picked. I could have picked 1, And you got to remember to hit yes, because when you're moving that knob around, it's just preview. You can hear it already. And notice the Digitakt isn't even playing. You can hear the frequency on the black box is changing because it's going off the LFO. So just like that, we are automated. If I stop everything, let's get a little groovier here. Now you notice, I don't think it's running. The Digitakt needs one trig to get the waveform going. Now you can hear it. A couple things I want to point out about the LFO here. The mode is important. The mode is free. It is not any of these other settings. I think that these other settings will be more valuable to you and me if the pattern were programmed in the Digitakt and was being used either to play sounds internally or to play sounds somewhere else. But if the pattern's not in the Digitakt, I just find this a little more complicated to wrap my head around. Did I say already there's only 2 pages in the whole Digitakt manual on LFOs, and it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I recommend looking at those. We have automated the hi-hat frequency to adjust using one of the LFOs on the Digitakt. What I can do real quick next is just set up one more, a little less talking, a little more just programming. So let's do that. Instead of playing with the filter, I'm going to mess with the pitch on the conga. Bongo. But I also want to show you something that I ran into, which is can break your brain if you don't see it coming. But hopefully, when I show you this, you'll be ready for it, and it won't bother you too much. So where am I now? Right now, I'm on MIDI A. We've got to get the conga set up. So go to MIDI. I've already got it on 12. I don't know why, but so I'll go over to D, which has the number 12 on it, and you can see D up there. I'll turn it on, and look, it's at 12. Okay, so just like before, we can now trig it, but we're not really like automating anything. We'll get ready to do that in a sec. So just like before, you can pick whatever you want. Maybe this time I will use A, and I'll pick. Make sure it's not. What did we use on 9? We used 88. So here we'll use 9. Okay. So we're using CC number 9 on selector 1. So over here, I just have to turn on selector 1. That's it. Just turn it on. Now I should be able to use the learn mode to map my change in pitch from the Digitakt from knob A over here. So all I have to do is hit learn, right? Whoop. Did you see that? It automatically learned it. Last time when I showed you this on the hi-hat, it stayed lit until I turned the knob. Okay, so what's going on? The LFO, I'll leave it going. The LFO on A is sending MIDI. So if we very quickly, remember right now it's CC value 5. If I turn it off, yes to save, so it's not sending MIDI anymore. Stop that. Come back to our conga. Come back to our value knob that we set. Remember, amp CC9 on knob A, filter, knob A, learn. Now it's still lit because there's no data coming in. And now when I turn it, all right, so now just to get us back to normal, I'll go back to channel A and I'll set this back to CC5. Oops, I forgot to hit yes, because this is just a preview. So I set it to 5, then hit yes. Now destination is locked in. Okay, now what I think is cool about the square wave, we're still in free mode. We're on the LFO on channel D, which is linked up to the conga. The square wave really lets you hear what's going on. So in this case, I think we did it just on 1, right? And then I just have a little sequence here, a little conga. So you see the square, it's like, it's up high for a minute, and then it's low for a minute. And because my timing is whatever it is, it's not going to be the exact same every time, but I could, oops. You can even hear it, like, while some things are going. You could just add some. Oh, sausage fingers. When I move this knob H over the depth, it can get a higher pitch. If I move it to the left, it's going to get way lower. And it's going to come back to that sort of pitch anchor. That's going to be all over the place. I don't think it's terribly musical at all, but I think it's a good example of just something else you can do. So I'm going to turn this off because it's annoying. And the last thing I would do, maybe, real quick, is just give a shout out to Cymatics because they make so much great stuff available. Stop this real quick. Get this guy on. This is muted. Maybe we'll clean that up in post, folks. And we can even, you get good at this. Pretty darn quick. Channel 15. Track 15. Let's see, I'm on 22. Value. Quickly. Set up the filter. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, sweet. We're gonna go out on this. Just gonna mess around with this. Pretty sure I had it. Oh, this time we did it on 2. Not going yet because I haven't hit the trig, which is a little hard to do on this longer sample. 3, 4. Don't have LFOs to wrap up here. There's no LFOs on the black box today. You know, talk to our friends at 1010, maybe version 2, firmware version 2. Maybe give us some LFOs. But for now, you can use control changes from an external source to automate whatever features they give us to automate, and there are a few of them. So play around with it. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought about this tutorial. If there's something you want to dig in deeper. I know I've made some assertions about what just works and what I think I know and all that. So please feel free. Give me a heads up. Let me know what I got wrong. And we'll both get better together. Thanks a lot. Enjoy. I hope this was helpful.